thank everyone for the coverage. Goodman, I'm the incoming director for the Michigan Republican. I want to thank our legislators for being here. I'm going to pass it along right now to Senator Jim Runstead.
Thank you for having me here. Thank you for covering this event. This is something that the state of Michigan is very, very concerned about. We have a situation here in Michigan that parallels what happened in New York City. Lack of transport, situation where the governor put nursing homes with COVID infection with non-infected patients. That's got to be a proposition. They didn't have the ability the way it should have been done, air and put through filtration systems to be safe. So a situation that other governors would never do. Of Florida, DeSantis said this is an insane policy. What you need to do is you set up a separate field hospital, and in that field hospital you put the COVID infected patients. We have 200 here in the state of Michigan. The Healthcare Association Michigan that represents nursing homes sent a letter to the governor March 3rd, put patients in a field hospital. We closed or are reduced number of individuals in it in southeastern Michigan rejected that. She is one of 5 good policy. The COVID infected patients in with the non-infected patients. They think we're well, she is going through a lot of hiding in the tall grass. Her news of DHHS has been asked at times, we're going to say, by Steve Johnson, site committee to come in. She has, what are we? The director Gordon was given don't talk contract about what happened. Now we found out another one of the directors is giving one of these don't say anything things up, no transparency type of contracts. Seeing more and more from this governor that has got to step up to the line and start telling the people here what happened. There are hundreds of families, thousands of families who have lost individuals and know, was my loved one lost because of the policies of the governor here in the state of Michigan? We're not getting the answers, but we are going to get the answers. We have asked, the Republicans have asked the Attorney General to do what the Attorney General did in New York City, and that is to do an investigation and get to the bottom of this. Let's do an investigation to get to the bottom of it, and I certainly hope that we hear back from her and the that is. Thank you, and I'll turn to our host.
Jump in. Thank you. I'm the host, Matt Hall. No, I'll tell you the reason. I just want to say I just read a statement from Robert Gordon, and I having my committee many times, and I want to wish him well. I understand his father died, and that's a sad thing, and we wish him the best for his family. But I think the reason is really Governor. And I was very disappointed. I saw today her press conference, and I thought members of the media questions that needed to be asked, which is, why did you do this? I mean, this looks like a hush money payment, right? Because Robert Gordon was involved in making these decisions. Robert Gordon signed many of these orders. The reason this matters is transparency in how these decisions are made in government. And because of that, the public doesn't know how they were made. And now, that anyone has ever of a cabinet member during this time who's being to not talk. And he knows a lot about how these decisions are made. And I think the reason you see some legislators here is because the people of our calls to get answers for them about these decisions. I mean, look at these restaurant owners, right? I mean, they were shut down for in-person service, and now you know why, right? I've had this, and so has Steve Johnson. Gordon and Gretchen Whitmer to present us data that showed outbreaks in restaurants to justify these closures. It appears there was some kind of disagreement between Gretchen Whitmer, but we don't know why and what about and what the science. And for the first time, it looks like politics were involved in these decisions for the people we represent. So I do want to say her did not answer the question why she did. And I heard it. We want, okay, why are you giving Robert Gordon to sign? No one has ever done this before, executive like this in a cabinet. We didn't get those answers today, and I know we're going to continue to try to hold her accountable to get those answers for the people of Michigan. Why did you make these hush money payments? What is it you're hiding to it, right? The reason I was so surprised yesterday, I never thought something like this would happen. Gretchen Whitmer would have political judgment to do this. I mean, this makes it seem like there's a lot more to this story, and I know the people of Michigan are demanding answers for them. One more thing I want to point out. I know Chad Liven did a great job with this, but Gretchen Whitmer stood up here in front of the Capitol a few years ago and called it a golden parachute when Rick Snyder paid somebody just for a few weeks or whatever it was, a few months after they left, right? We're talking 9 months. We're talking 9 months and $100,000, okay? Now that is a golden parachute, people, all right? I heard Gretchen Whitmer get up here years ago and say that was wrong. Now she's, and not only is she doing it, but she's doing it much, much more than anyone's ever done it before. And I think we need to know why. It wasn't right, maybe then, but it's definitely not right now. And so we need to look at these payments and assess the appropriateness of them. And one of the main things we need to do that is to get answers from Gretchen Whitmer. Why are you doing this? And she didn't answer those questions today, and we'll continue to demand answers. So I'll turn it over to Steve Johnson, and we'll take some questions when it's over, I think, off to the side.
Thank you. So as the Oversight Committee, what we have done, when we saw what happened in New York with Governor Cuomo, we reached out to the department. We want to have good communication. We want to know, with what happened in New York, did that happen here? Can you show us that data? They refused to show us the data. We asked the department to come testify before our committee. They refused to testify before our committee. A public document with the questions that we have, that we are asking them to answer. Yet almost a week later, they have refused to give us. And now last night we find that our governor has bought the silence of former Director Gordon with $155,000 of taxpayer money. That is a public official being bought off with taxpayer dollars. What are they hiding? And that is what our Oversight Committee is going to do. We are doing an investigation to look at the process of what they're doing in administration. It came to light that it's Gordon, but his aide as well has one of these agreements. Our office has issued for a copy of each agreement. Now has to be asked is whether the former disgraced UIA director who resigned has a similar agreement. We don't know. No transparency from this administration. They have failed the people of the state of Michigan, and we are going to make sure that we can bring some transparency, some honesty to what actually happened here. I don't know who else is next. I think Ted, you're up.
Some members have graciously offered to do that. So if you have any questions, raise your hand.
What options do you have? Will there be subpoenas? Will you be looking to break this agreement that the governor signed, or will you be looking to force the information from other?
Oversight will be doing hearings on these matters. Department asking for and to testify, and we are working with our legal counsel to determine what we have available, and we.
Any other questions?
Will you be asking of the newly appointed or the newly placed DHHS director to see if you can get any information out of
For our our committee. That's the problem. We want to have communication, but the more that they refuse to testify before us, the more to answer our questions, it begs the. So we're going to try to get for them to come forward to share their side of the story, but they have not done that yet.
Time for 2 more questions in the back.
Senator Runstead, does this play any role in your deliberation of whether to advise the consent to Elizabeth Hertel's appointment
A lot of very pointed questions on Thursday in advising consent, and Brock is putting forward questions for the committee down and find out what did she know and when did she know it and what was her part in all of these decisions. So it's a real committee hearing on Thursday, and yes, we absolutely are looking at this as part of the confirmation process.
Any more questions? Yep, right here.
Right here. Director, to look into some of these things to extend FOIA into the executive office and the legislative branch.
Thursday, the oversight committee on a package of bills that to the legislature and to the governor's office. This situation is much needed reform. Passed this the last couple terms, and I believe with everything we've seen, and we'll have appetite as well to make sure that the people in Michigan have trade.
And I'll just sing before we wrap up. Look, the governor paid for the silence of the state's top health official who resigned abruptly, simply demanding answers. Deserves that. Thank you.